How much can I make if I invest in Nova Palm City? This is one of the most common questions people ask me. And honestly, it is a very fair question. The question started becoming frequent after my last video, where I compared investing in oil palm plantation versus buying a 2-bedroom apartment in Lekki Phase 1. Use this link up here if you haven't watched that video. Because nobody wants to put money into an investment just because it sounds nice. Of course, you want to know the numbers and the projection, and you want to know what your land and palm trees can potentially produce over time. So I decided to make this video to explain how much you can potentially earn from investing in a structured oil palm plantation like Nova Palm City. In this video, I will be using our illustrative 25-year revenue projection for 1 acre. Now, before I continue, please note that this is a projection. In agriculture, yield can be affected by weather, market price, logistics, farm management, and other factors. So, it is an illustrative projection based on expected yield and an assumed selling price of 260,000 naira per ton. Now, let's get right into it. At Nova Palm City, when you invest in 1 acre, you are getting land and oil palm trees. 1 acre gives you approximately 60 oil palm trees planted on your 6 plot of land. But oil palm does not start producing immediately. It takes time to mature. However, the good news is that at Nova Palm City, we are using a high-yield oil palm breed known as Tenera. Tenera is known for better productivity, and with good agronomic practices, it can start fruiting around the 3rd year. So from year 0, we begin with nursery. The nursery stage runs for about 10 to 11 months. Then the seedlings are transplanted to the farm. After transplanting and proper farm management, the palms begin to establish properly. Then towards the 3rd year, fruiting begins. So let's start from year 3. In year 3, which is the early fruiting stage, we are projecting about 3 tons of fresh fruit bunches per acre. Now, before I go further, I want you to understand something. We are basing this projection on 260,000 naira per ton, as I said earlier. This figure is based on current market pricing information obtained from NIFO, the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research. And for clarity, NIFO has been in this industry since 1939. So we are not just throwing numbers around for hype. This projection is built around industry data and practical oil palm production expectations. So let's get back to the revenue projection. In year 3, the projection is 3 tons per acre. At 260,000 naira per ton, that gives us 780,000 in projected revenue for year 3. Now remember, this is still early fruiting. The trees are just beginning to produce at this stage, and the fresh bunches are not yet at full maturity. Then in year 4, the projection increased to 5 tons per acre. And at 260 per ton, that gives us 1.3 million in projected revenue for year 4. Then in year 5, the palms are getting stronger. The projection moves to 7 tons per acre. At the same 260,000 naira per ton, that gives us 1.82 million in projected revenue for year 5. Now, from year 6 to year 8, the plantation enters the maturing stage. Here, we are projecting 8.5 tons per acre per year. At 260,000 naira per ton, that gives us 2.21 million naira per year. And because this stage covers 3 years, the total projected revenue from year 6 to year 8 is 6.63 million naira. Now, this is where it starts getting very interesting. From year 9 to year 18, the plantation enters what we call the peak period. This is when the oil palms are expected to be at their strongest productive stage. The projection here is 10 tons per acre per year. That gives us 2.6 million naira per year. And because this peak period runs for 10 years, the total projected revenue from year 9 to year 18 is 26 million naira. That is where the real power of this type of asset begins to show. You are not just buying land and waiting for appreciation. You are buying land that carries a crop that can produce yearly income for you. This is the difference. Now, from year 19 to year 25, the plantation enters a stable production phase. At this stage, the projection is 8 tons per acre per year. At 260,000 naira per ton, that gives us 2.08 million naira per year. And because this phase covers 7 years, the total projected revenue from year 19 to year 25 is 14.56 million naira. So when we add everything together across 25 years, the total projected revenue per acre comes to 51.09 million naira. Let me repeat that. Based on this illustrative projection, 1 acre of Nova Palm City has the potential to generate about 51.09 million in gross revenue over 25 years. Now, let's put that beside the investment amount. 1 acre at Nova Palm City currently goes for 5.5 million naira. So, you are investing 5.5 million naira today into land and 60 oil palm trees. And based on this 25-year projection, that 1 acre has the potential to produce about 51.09 million in gross revenue over time. But please note the word gross revenue. This is revenue before post-harvest management arrangement and yearly operational deductions. As Nova Palm City, we are transparent with the structure. After harvest begins, you can decide to handle the sale of your harvested produce yourself, or you can allow the professional management team to continue handling harvesting, sales, and plantation operations on your behalf. So what makes Nova Palm City attractive is not just the projected revenue, it is the structure. You own the land, you own the palm trees, the asset is professionally managed, and the produce can be sold on your behalf. That means you are not buying something that just sits there. You are buying a productive asset. And this is why I always say Nova Palm City is different from regular land banking. With regular land banking, you buy land and wait for appreciation. That is good. But with Nova Palm City, you are buying land plus an agricultural asset that can produce income year after year. So the land itself can appreciate. The palm trees can also produce. And you can potentially earn from the sale of fresh fruit bunches over the productive life of the plantation. That is a real play. Now, imagine someone who buys 5 acres. Using this same projection, 5 acres can potentially produce about 255.45 million naira gross revenue over 25 years. Someone who buys 10 acres can potentially produce about 510.9 million naira gross revenue over 25 years. And for our bigger investors, someone who buys a Nova block of 50 acres can potentially produce about 2.55 billion naira gross revenue over the same 25 years. Again, these are projections. But the numbers shows you why oil palm is one of the most powerful long-term agricultural assets. A well-managed oil palm plantation can keep producing for decades. And that is why smart investors are beginning to look beyond only houses and plots. They are now asking, what assets can preserve my wealth and also produce income over time? That is where Nova Palm City comes in. It gives you land ownership, it gives you agricultural productivity, it gives you long-term income potential, it gives you diversification outside regular real estate, and most importantly, it gives you entry into one of Nigeria's most important agricultural value chain. Because oil palm is not a small market. It is used in food, it is used in manufacturing, it is used in cosmetics, it is used in household products, it is used across industries. So the demand is already there. The real question is, who owns the productive assets supplying that demand? That is the opportunity. So if you have been asking, how much can I make from Nova Palm City? The simple answer is this. Based on our 25-year illustrative projection, 1 acre has the potential to generate about 51.09 million naira in gross revenue over 25 years, using 260,000 naira per ton as the assumed selling price. But beyond numbers, you are also owning land and oil palm trees in a professionally structured agro-real estate project. And for me, that is a real advantage. Because true wealth is not only about buying assets, it is about buying assets that can grow, produce, and preserve value over time. That is what Nova Palm City is designed to help investors achieve. So if you are interested in owning your own acre, hectare, or larger block at Nova Palm City, reach out to us today. We will send you the available investment packages, payment structure, and everything you need to know before you make your decision. You can pause this video right now and dial my number on the screen, or send me a message on WhatsApp to get started.